Good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, now that I've taken all that rage, the jacket rage out of me, I can have Margaret Wheeler-Johnson on, who is here to also commiserate because she too has a youngin'. You have a 22-month-old?
Yes.
Is it she?
It is a she.
Does she love wearing the winter coat?
She's okay with the coat situation.
What doesn't she like?
Gloves get thrown immediately. It's like they were designed.
Right.
It's like she's in a Mardi Gras parade.
Yep.
And she's supposed to throw
Give
the
them to
glove.
people.
Right.
They're like beads.
Yeah,
That's
but
basically what
it's
it
like
is.
more projectile.
Okay. She wants them nowhere near her.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
It's just.
Right,
Why
and then
would
you
you-
try to reason. You say, but your hands.
They're freezing.
Your hands are going to be cold,
Right,
and then you will cry.
Right.
Because your hands are cold.
Right. In fact, you're already crying.
You're crying.
And this would help with that.
Yeah.
So then we play a game where one of us like takes one of her hands in between our hands and we say toasty, 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 and then we made the mistake of doing that once, and now she loves it, and so she would definitely rather do that. So when we're walking along with the stroller, someone is pushing and someone is doing toasty, toasty, and it was a really bad decision.
We made a bad decision to. Harper doesn't love washing her hands, the 3-year-old. So I do a thing. Steph will never stoop to my level. I put soap in each hand, and then each hand talks to each other. Hey, you got more soap, and I hold her hands. You got more soap than I did. No, I don't. Yes, you did. No, I don't. Get off me. No, you get off me. You get off me. No. And then they fight and they wrestle, and she loves it. She's laughing, and next thing you know, her hands are all completely washed and washed well. Like she could perform surgery. She like walks out of the bathroom like this.
I'm ready.
So I really think parenting is all about how creative you can get, right? How you can
agree.
teach them things without letting them know you're teaching them things.
But the thing is, there's an inverse between how creative you can be and how tired you are. I find. So the more tired you get, and tired is a big part of it, the less creative you get, and then the solutions become. Yeah,
I get that. Well, you must be exhausted. You are 8+ months pregnant.
Yes, I'm a bit tired, but it's mostly because our 22-month-old, who's really a wonderful human being, has refused to sleep for the last 3 nights. She was sick, and so she got out of her usual sleep routine, and now she thinks it's fun, so wake up 3 times in the night and insist that we keep coming in. You know, the usual thing.
The usual. And now, is this a girl or boy? Do you know?
Girl.
Okay, so you're just in the same in our boat.
Yeah.
Ours are 18 months apart. Yours is going to be like 22, 23 months apart.
Yeah.
Okay, so good luck. That's all I'm really going to say is good luck to you.
How did your older child respond to the baby?
Great at first, didn't really understand it. She was a little younger. She was still 17 months actually. And now, well, the last couple weeks she's had a tough time. Sharing is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And now Harper can speak. She's 3, so she could talk and have a full sentence. And Quinn, not so much yet.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest discrepancy in their ages, I think, until the little one can start talking, and then.
But the little one is old enough to have like strong opinions already.
Oh, opinionated like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, knows what she wants, goes get what she wants, but doesn't know how to express it with words so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun for you.
It's going to be really fun.
Oh my God,
especially with a puppy.
Yeah, so you added another variable to it, which don't ask me how I think you're going to do it. What kind of dog?
It's a Vizsla.
Yeah, I wish I
a really high energy breed. So.
And was that by accident? Like the puppy ended up at your door and you felt guilty, so you had to keep.
No, not at all. We've been trying to get this puppy for a long time. It took a while with the breeder, and that was how we ended up. We wouldn't have timed it exactly like this, but the puppy was delayed. So.
It's funny because most people say we tried, for many months to get pregnant, and then we finally got pregnant and then got a dog. You're like, we were trying many months to get a dog. We were pregnant. That was easy. That was a no-brainer.
I wouldn't say that was easy, but it. I guess this time around, maybe the dog did take longer.
Isn't that weird?
Yes. Anyway.
Well, mazel tov on the puppy and
the
soon-to-be baby and the 20-month-old, 22-month-old who hates her gloves. Like, it's all coming together for you, Margaret.
It really is all coming together.
So let's talk when you're not parenting and parenting the puppy and trying to manage a household and dealing with life as we know it and the chaos that comes with it. Tell me about Romper, what that is, what you do.
Okay, so Romper is a site for millennial parents that we started almost exactly a year ago. Our birthday is on Wednesday, so
nice.
So we Bustle is the site that most people are probably familiar with. It's the largest site for women on the web now. We launched it in 2013, and we thought all along, it's a lot of content for, I would say, young single women. We do some marriage content, a lot of relationships content, etc. But really for mostly for people who don't have children.
Is Bustle or Romper?
is bustle.
Okay.
And so we'd always thought, you know, a lot of people don't know this, the average age of first birth in the United States is 26. Which I think in coastal places like New York City or even LA,
it's like childbearing.
Right, we're just like, that's, I mean, I had one of my friends tell me that's not true. And I was like, no, it is. The Census Bureau says so.
Right.
And she was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So
She's
it actually
anti-Census Bureau.
Yeah. So it actually is 26. So there are all of these women in their 20s who were having a different experience than the young women we were speaking to a lot with our content. And we thought it would be really cool to create an entire, it's like reaching millennial women is something we know how to do at Bustle. And so we thought, we'll do this with a dedicated site, and we'll do it for women with kids, who are, you know, our whole sort of hypothesis is that people want to be spoken to as other the same people they were before they had kids, just like with less time to go to brunch.
Yes.
And
yes. Yeah.
And so that's what we did, and we're like a general interest site. We cover, you know, everything. You know, Westworld is a big thing right now. Lots of TV and entertainment coverage, but also, you know, how to deal with your toddler's sleep regression, which is what you're doing. Something I messaged our lifestyle editor this morning. I was like, please help.
Yeah.
Please help.
SOS, send help immediately.
Yeah. So that is
the millennial is, for people who don't know, give me the age bracket.
It's 18 to 34.
I'm joking on that. I had kids so much later than that. Oh, it's crazy. No, it's not. I just wouldn't have had to know. I wouldn't.
I mean, I'm 34, so I'm right on the.
You're right there. No, I was 39 when I had my first one. So, like, what's the biggest demand? Like, what do people want? What are they craving? What kind of information are they looking for mostly that you do hear from people that are reading?
We find that people are looking most for community. At this point, there's so much information available. I mean, we cover every parenting topic we can think of, as do all the other wonderful parenting sites out there. But we have really had a lot of success in reaching young women around issues that are, you know, sort of that they always exist in parenthood, but they really want to talk to their peers about it. You know, we have a Facebook page that's just dedicated to breastfeeding. That it's like such an amazing community. I mean, you're probably familiar with this. There tends to be so much negativity in the comments when you're a media organization, and they are just like cheering each other on all day, every day. I've really never seen anything like it. It's really fantastic. It's called Breastfeeding TBH, or Breastfeeding to be honest.
Oh, that's good.
So that's just an example. Like, we find that they also are very interested in stories that present families like theirs. You know, we know that millennials are, and specifically millennials with kids, their families just look a lot different from the white picket fence ideal that is really pretty tired at this point.
Right.
So they're, you know, much less likely to be married. They're more likely to be LGBT. They're more likely to be in an interracial relationship. They're thus more likely to have mixed race kids. And so this brings up all of these conversations that that they want to have that they don't necessarily see being had in a lot of places.
So this is a good place.
Yeah, we want to talk about, like, you know, what that reality is like, and give voice to women in this demographic who are living that.
Can we go back to the breastfeeding for a second? I didn't know that it was such a controversial topic until I had the baby, and the Today Show asked me to do a story on breastfeeding, and they asked me to do it as the subject in my own story. So I went around, we picked 5 places. Some we thought we would be welcomed to breastfeed in public, and others we wouldn't. Okay. And then we just had hidden cameras all over the place to see how people would react.
Reactions.
And I kept fighting back. I'm like, I don't think there's any controversy. What's the controversy? There's no controversy. And you're right. There's tons of controversy. People either want a seat in public or they don't ever want a seat in public. Right. They're either for it, they're against it. And within the 4s, there are some who are for 3 months, some who insist on like 2 years, some who insist on 5 years, some who insist on a day and a half. I mean, it's a really big topic. So not to be brushed over in any way, I'm sure you have just tons and tons of content on just a topic like that alone.
We have a ton. We are actually pretty agnostic about. We don't ever tell people what they should do. I mean, breastfeeding for some people is incredibly difficult, as I'm sure you know, either from your own experience or from friends' experience. It's not an easy thing. There's a lot of argument about why that's the case. You know, some people would say it's your individual biology or your baby's preferences.
Yeah.
Some people would say, it's entirely societal. We make it impossible for women to breastfeed in this country, especially women who work. I think there are legitimate aspects to all of those arguments.
Yeah.
Our position is pretty much like we see our role as to just do what works for you and your baby.
Yeah.
And we support you in that, and everyone around you should really support you in that, because no one else is really in a position to tell you what the right thing to do is there.
Where do you see most of your audience? Where in the country? Is it more Middle America?
It's not as much Middle America as coastal yet, but we think that's a function of sort of where we are.
Yeah.
Who, our audience grew out of our networks, but our audience is many millions of people now. So we do have lots of readers in the Midwest, some in Arizona, some in sort of Florida, Alabama area. We just did this survey of how they feel about the election that really featured a lot of people on the southern East Coast. It was very interesting. One thing I loved about it was that millennials have a reputation for not voting, for being like real geared up, but not actually voting, at least in 2012. And this was a survey of 500 millennial moms, and 84% said they would be voting on the 8th.
Wow.
Which was really cool to see. Another question that we had for them that I've always been curious about is whether parenting actually changes your politics.
Oh, that's a great question.
And I thought that the answer, that very few would say yes, and actually 44% says that it has.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. We let them actually comment and say how, and most of them didn't seem to mean in terms of their actual position on issues. They meant that they care more about politics.
Well, probably it affects more than just them, and now they have someone else.
They're I never watched the debates before. I never bothered to vote before. I just didn't care at all. And now I care.
Yeah.
And also the issues that they care about, their number one issue just felt so boomery, which is what? Maybe they're we care about taxes, which I really didn't expect. But and they really just care about economic opportunity a lot, which makes sense. This is a generation that has less money than their parents or stands to, and so they're this.
But it also seems like they're a generation that's more read in on what's happening, or a little more self-righteous in knowing what they want, I just feel like they're a louder generation than the one before it.
Well, they have social media, which makes
you're right. That's a very good point.
Difference.
A much easier way to express yourself.
And a lot of them are used to. I'm as I said, I'm on sort of the old end of the millennials.
Yeah, you're old.
Very
crusty.
But
on your way out.
But a lot of them are, really very used to being on social media in high school, which didn't really happen for me.
No.
I had dial-up, AOL.
I didn't even have that in high school. Mine was after college, so there you go.
Yeah, Facebook. I was in college.
I had a telephone.
Yeah, barely.
It was a rotary, but it was.
And it was one in the hallway.
Actually, no, I had the
push button.
Oh,
you were.
I was practical.
Yeah, things were really happening in your time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wonder if people in high school still talk on the phone.
Well,
it's such a thing.
My kids don't know what it is. They think it's cute. We have
FaceTime.
the landline.
They FaceTime each other. They FaceTime each other like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's all video chat.
They're all video.
But remember when we were little, we used to say one day we're going to be able to see each other through the phone.
Right, and it was this crazy, very futuristic idea.
Yeah.
And now
it just happens.
Yeah, and then your 2-year-old is
it's FaceTime.
Want to see grandma? Want to see grandma?
Yep. And they don't know other way. if I'm on the phone, she doesn't understand it. She says, FaceTime. No, this is just a regular phone call. And she's like,
want to see? It's always.
She doesn't get it. How'd you come up with the name Romper?
Oh, that took a very long time. The naming process was, we polled everyone in the office for ideas. We voted through those ideas. We went to bookstores and looked through dictionaries. We did the whole.
I love this.
thing.
I love the how you.
There were spreadsheets.
We just went with what's her name?
Julia Roberts. Ours is going to be the Julia Roberts Show, starring Jenna Wolf. But nobody. She didn't want it. She didn't like it. She didn't like the idea.
So we backed into Jenna.
So we went back to just me. Go on about Romper.
So we someone suggested Romper. It was a finalist. It was a name, and then and then we had like a final vote. And since a romper is an item of clothing as well as one who romps,
It's the
all-in-one.
Okay, yeah.
There used to be something called Romper Room.
Right.
Yeah,
It
that's the
also
best show
refers
ever on
It
television.
refers to kids. So
Yeah.
that was sort of what we liked about it because bustle is also a clothing pun.
Yeah.
So the two kind of went together, and that's how we ended up with it. We've been really happy with it.
Yeah.
We seem to like it.
I like it. It stood out to me when I was reading over your bio.
Yeah.
I like Romper, and I thought of Romper Room, but only because at the end of the show, she holds up the mirror and she talks to people, and I had a very common name, so she would occasionally say Jennifer, and I got super excited. Then, of course, I changed it to Jenna, and she never said it again.
She never said Lance.
Not a very popular name.
No,
Lance. What was your brother's name again?
Alan.
Oh,
Corey.
yeah,
Alan
Alan.
Corey. Alan was popular, Corey.
Corey's a great name.
Yeah.
I was obsessed
I
with
like
Corey
that name
Haim.
too.
Corey Haim and Corey, what was the other one? Feldman.
Right?
Yeah. Off on a tangent.
Sorry.
So now you have a year under your belt.
Yes.
You guys sort of know your identity and who you are. Millennial parents,
Mostly moms.
mostly moms. What's in store for the second year now?
I think we're just gonna try to do more cool stuff. Like bigger features. There's talk of like really looking at like the postpartum period and what actually goes on there because at least in my experience, I found it to be quite isolating. Which is, on the one hand, something people have said since the beginning of time, but on the other hand, when you're in it, like you're still kind of like, why is it this way? Like,
Right.
when you're pregnant, everyone pays all sorts of attention to how you're doing and, wants. It's all about like your comfort and then
Can I get you something? Can I help? Like,
Right.
if you are
And then
comfortable.
when you have the baby,
It's all about the baby.
it's
no
all
longer
about the
you.
baby. No one takes care of you, despite the fact that your body has just been through this like incredible ordeal.
Right.
No one's very interested in that at all.
Right.
And then you have to deal with the whole maternity leave situation, which
Correct.
is bad in this country generally. And you're just expected to juggle all of this stuff. And
So you can just reset, like, for the audience.
Oh, sure.
People
We're talking
asking.
to Margaret Wheeler Johnson,
Right.
and I'm not sick. I have this cold, this
it's
cough.
okay. I
just
had
want
one
you to
that's
know.
persisted for
That's what this is.
4 weeks.
But I don't. You're pregnant, so I don't want you to think that I have a cold in any way. And
There's
even
so
if I
much
did,
disease in my apartment right now. It's
Okay,
really okay.
good. I'm very sensitive to it. Margaret runs Romper, which is an offshoot of Bustle, which is this fantastic, widely popular website for women, for single women, or just for women?
It's for women in general.
Right, but Romper is really focusing on millennials who are parents or moms, and everything they're going through, and it's just a wealth of information, and we're now sort of jetting into what you guys are going to really focus on next year, which is just everything. I mean, you're never going to run out of ideas when it comes to
No,
the topic.
I mean, truly, it's more a matter of like what we want to do. So like, yeah, there are a lot of just issues that still impact parents that are not solved, like how we approach the time right after you have a baby. I think we'll probably do some stuff on postpartum anxiety, which is different from postpartum depression and doesn't get as much press, but is a big thing that people deal with. There's more like fun stuff we just want to do. We did a flow chart a few months ago that was why am I crying right now?
Yeah.
Which people responded well to. So we want to do more.
Did you have
funny
any?
stuff like
Did
that.
you have the first baby?
Yes.
You did. Did you feel any sort of postpartum?
I don't think. Yeah, I did. I'm not sure. It felt more circumstantial in that I had a baby at the end of December. My friends all work. I was kind of alone.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a mood disorder, although what do I know? Maybe it was.
Right.
But it just felt like this is really hard, and my family lives really far away, and I just don't have like a lot of community around. I also didn't know to be more proactive about it. January doesn't really help you be proactive about anything, but I didn't know, like, you absolutely have to make yourself get out and see other people who also have a newborn, and then there's also like social anxiety, like I'm just going to hang out with strangers just because we both have a baby. Yes, you do need to do that. You need to go
really
and have
helps.
coffee with
It's like
a
Halloween.
stranger.
Basically.
Yes. Yeah. Halloween for
Basically.
new moms. You need to like take your child and go get out of your house and do something.
I know.
But it feels at that, it feels like that's just impossible.
Exactly. That's exactly how it feels.
But
And
that's
you took
my advice to everyone.
How much time did you take off?
I had 3 months of paid leave, which is really not
Much at all.
not much, but it's so much more than anyone, especially in media, has, which is
Right.
it was a real gift, and that I got to really spend a lot of time with my kid. But in Canada, people take a year off. So
Yeah, London too. I mean,
it's
insane. I mean,
we're the
great.
only developed country without paid maternity leave.
Like, what is that? Why?
I feel like it's a combination of politicians genuinely not caring, and also this idea we have that women should be able to really do it all, which is such a cliche, but it is really ingrained.
Would that be a state-by-state thing, or that would be like a federal?
I don't know.
Like, could Hillary come in and all of a sudden?
She says
well,
she
how do you
can.
like
I
actually
will get pregnant again.
So if you
that's
take
the
if you have
case.
if you have 4 kids, and let's say you also maybe even had like a miscarriage, like people do that. Like if like you take off, I'm just
4
asking
years of
if you
work.
take off 4 years of work, and I assume you get some time off for miscarriages and stuff. Also, no, why
Wrong.
not?
Most
Shouldn't you
people
get
in the
any?
United States don't even talk about miscarriage.
Right, but if you have a miscarriage, shouldn't that be as much of a health issue as having a baby? Like, it does create.
But your point is just that you could take advantage of the system.
No, I'm asking the question. Like, where, like, what if you were to take an ideal system? Like, if an ideal system is, let's say, a family's going to planning on having 4 kids,
And this is a way to
over
get paid.
over an 8-year period.
Yeah.
Like, are you saying that the women should be off? The women who delivered on both parents should be off for 4 years? Is that, I'm asking. I'm not.
No, I mean it's a big question. It's not just a big policy question. It's also, I mean, in terms of your own career, you have to think about, and it absolutely makes a difference when you take time off.
Listen, I would get pregnant just to be off this show for a year. So I might be able to do. You want me to do that? I can get pregnant real quick, and then I don't get to come for a year.
Well, if you went to work for Romper.
Knowing you though, I would turn over in bed and there'd be 3 cameras.
We'd be
in my
doing it
face.
on. We would have it live.
Yeah.
Like from the
We would-
You'd be providing
my
content.
hospital room. I can't.
Right.
I can't.
Well, I mean, someone did that on Facebook Live.
They had their baby live.
Yeah.
I actually had.
But some members of our staff who will remain nameless keep asking me if I'm going to do that, and I'm like, not a chance.
No.
Alicia videotaped it. Like she had.
I mean, a lot of people videotape it, but there's a difference between that and sharing it with Alicia's family, say, and doing it for the world to see.
Right. Actually, John, I think it's John, is asking if there are any parts of the website that are geared to single men.
To
Single men.
any parts of Romper geared to
Yeah.
single
No,
men?
it's not going to be. No.
No.
Right.
That which is not to say that single men's experiences don't matter.
Right.
Just
She
not
hates
what
single
we're-
men. She hates single men.
I think single dads, like
Oh,
single men with kids.
we
I think
do.
was the question.
I'm kidding.
Sorry.
She
My
loves
bad.
single
My
men.
bad.
We do some dad content, but since most of our readers are women, we don't do a ton. But the dad content that we do does very well. A lot of women like to. The big secret is a lot of women like to read dad content.
Or is it
A
the
lot.
women telling the dads what to do?
Well,
and
that's
have
another funny thing
outlet
that
to
happens.
do
We do a lot of relationship content. Parenting puts a big stress on relationships,
Huge.
which also is another thing people don't really talk about that much.
And it's not just when you just have the baby. It's
It's
up until those kids are able to sort of have a conversation on their own. It puts
it's
a
beyond
big
that.
strain.
I knew people in college whose parents had big disagreements about something related to
I mean,
parenting.
it's so stressful.
Yeah, but it's especially really intense when you have young children, just because no one has any sleep or time.
Right.
But we do a lot of relationship content, within the context of parenting, because we feel like there's a real dearth of that content out there. And we find many of our female readers consistently tagging their spouses, often their husbands. Like, really, sometimes it's nice because it's a nice article. It's, signs will be, your marriage is strong or something.
Yeah.
But it's also often like, a very distinct and very public call out. Like, just hey, Dave, you might want to read this in front of everyone. I'm like, do people realize Facebook is public?
Yeah.
Like, I see your name there. I see your name.
I know who Dave is. I know Dave. I just had lunch with Dave.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Dave knows what you're talking about.
Right. And now we all do too.
Now we all know what Dave's going through right now. So.
Or what you're going through with Dave, which is, yeah. So.
But that's something social media has done inadvertently, is sort of like pried open everybody's private life. And sometimes we mean it that way and sometimes we don't. But the next thing you know, like, I know where you were last weekend. I know what your kids are going to be for Halloween. Like, I could tell if there haven't been any pictures of posting the two of you in a while. You guys are having issues. Like, maybe I inferred that one, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right. Although I also find it scary because there's so much performance going on social media. It's like, you have the couple where you see pictures of them together all the time, then all of a sudden they're getting divorced.
Right.
And it's like, okay, this is all a sham.
Yeah.
It's all a sham.
But it is, because social media is the same thing as basically it's Instagram, because you're not going to post, well, Lance will, but you don't usually post a picture on Instagram until it's been like photoshopped and like tweaked and it looks perfect and it's trimmed, and once you're happy with it, then you post. Well, that's not life. Like,
I always want to comment, how long did this take you?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually find a lot of people on TV is the same way. Like, you have all these like people who go on TV and they do the makeup routine, they do their hair, all the other stuff. They make themselves up.
Well, live TV is different than obviously tape stuff. Live TV, you get one shot. You're either gonna make it work or you're not. That's what I loved about live TV. It's easy.
It seems terrifying.
No, it's easy. Trust me. I went the other way and I shot some TV shows, and it's take after take after take after take after take after take. See? So what you want is, I would choose
just
terrifying over. So just get it over with, good or bad or otherwise. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
That makes sense.
So how can people? I mean, can people get involved in the magazine? Can people do you have like surveys? Do you have contests? Do you have things that people can?
We don't do a lot of contests. This is our first survey. We'll probably do another.
I like the survey.
The best way to get involved is to, I think, hit us up on social, especially on Facebook.
Going back to social.
Yeah.
Dave, are you listening, Dave? Sorry.
Maybe refrain from calling out your significant other unless that's something you really feel like you need to do.
Right.
But especially if we have a pregnancy page, pregnancy TMI, which is also great.
What's that?
It's just where people, we do a ton of pregnancy content, so that's there. But we find the really great part of the page is not even what we're doing.
Is you listen to other people.
Yeah, it's that they, they chime. And we have a new mom page. Like they chime in with it. We did a story about preemies. I don't even remember the angle of the story, and suddenly everyone's posting photos of their kid when they were in the hospital in the NICU, and it's just like very I don't know, it's just very encouraging and really makes you feel like you're not alone. So if you are stranded in your apartment with your new baby in January,
this is a great outlet.
Please go, because it's something that I wish that I had when my daughter was brand new.
I wish I knew about it when Quinn was born. When do you do?
December 9th.
Oh wow, you're really right there.
Yeah, we just got to get past the election, and then anytime after that.
Are you excited?
I am excited and terrified. I mean, one was a different kind of terror. It was like a I don't know what we're doing terror. This is the kind of terror where you know exactly what you're doing.
Yep,
and you're
it's
like,
still
dear
terrifying.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm a big fan of my daughter. So
that's good. It's good to like your kid.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced everyone does though. So, I really like her. So I'm excited for it.
And you're taking some time off?
Yes, I think I'll take a couple months. And
does your partner get any time off?
She works for herself, so she can kind of take time here and there. I think she's carried a lot of the weight during this pregnancy in terms of taking care of our toddler.
That's so nice of you to admit that. I'm not going to call out anybody.
There's no admit. I mean, it's just like the truth.
Yeah.
So she's done a tremendous amount. So I think probably when I'm no longer in this situation, she's going to try to peace out a little bit.
Yeah.
And do her own thing more, which she has richly earned. And I think it'll be good.
That's awesome. Well, if your 22-month-old wants to hang out with a 20-month-old
downtown, no less,
to give her moms a break. Yep. I have a kid just for you. You could drop yours off at mine, as long as she doesn't have to wear gloves, and mine won't wear a coat. Two of them will play outside in the snow. They'll be the coldest babies in town. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing.
Okay.
It'll be good stuff.
Thank you.
So it's romper.com.
Yes.
Romper.com. Romper Room was like my favorite show. So even if it has nothing to do with Romper Room, just the name alone will make me want to go and sort of check it out. Come for
Stay for everything else.
Love it. Great place for millennials with children or single moms with kids. You do not have to be alone if you're having a baby. I felt that way. This would have been a really great thing for me to have. So it sucks that you didn't meet me sooner. I hate you for that. But I love you that you came and you made up for it. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
It's super exciting. Are you going to have a third?
Oh, God. Please.
That's probably the wrong time.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that because...
I mean, if you could wait for the labor room.
Okay, I'll wait till the labor room. But my point was, if you're not, I know you're ready to have the baby already, and I wish someone said this to me, just, this might be the last time you're ever pregnant.
I've thought about that, yeah.
You know,
so
like,
enjoy
in
it.
your whole life. So, and whether the word enjoy comes out or not, appreciate, good, bad, otherwise, every moment of it. And remember the things you have seemingly forgotten now since the 22-month-old.
Yeah.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
Can I ask a question from the guys
Yeah.
section? Does that mean that actually you enjoyed being pregnant?
I kind of...
It's like a good thing, so it's
Some
just
people
like...
really like it.
So it's just...
I liked it the first time around, but I mean, I felt amazing. I could have like gone to Soul Cycle.
See, mine was the second. The second one was good for me.
I have one of my best friends is about to deliver, and she's had a much better time
The
this
second time around.
Yeah, I think she feels amazing.
I was tremendous the second time. I was a big girl, so I had a harder time taking the weight off. Although I think I only was like not pregnant for 3 months, and then I got pregnant again. It was like something ridiculous. It wasn't that bad, but enjoy it.
Thank you.
I wish you a safe and beautiful pregnancy, delivery, all of it. Come back and hang out with us, and we'll follow you on Romper.
Please
and
do.
you should write a vlog like right before. Like, I call it BC and AD, before childbirth and after delivery, and what your life...
That's really great.
I mean, I'll write one for Romper sometime.
Oh, please do.
I would love to. I did a whole, blog on
that's
that.
a great way
BC
to
and
think
AD.
about it.
Yeah. Like, your life before and your life after, and it changes in a split second. Like, the split second that baby
it's
comes
crazy.
out, your life is completely different.
This friend, she's delivering shortly. She's like, do I really have to stay in the hospital the whole 2 days this time? I was like, stay the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to go home last time. Like, confronting that reality where you have to like actually get them home and care for them
that's it. You're real.
until they're, we say 18, but let's be real, like 24.
Yeah.
It's
stressed out.
It's like a long haul. Like, take the whole 2 days.
Enjoy it. Let the baby sleep in the NICU so you just relax.
Yeah.
And deal with patching
least
up
just
whatever
sleep, yeah.
happened there. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing people don't tell you about. They didn't tell me anything about what to expect after, like, the 48 hours after the baby was born. Nowhere did I read or know about
One
that.
of my former bosses was great. She took me out to breakfast while I was pregnant. She was like, I have to tell you 2 things. And she was like, one thing, she was like, don't sweat the breastfeeding, do what worked for you, which was, I'd heard a million times.
Yeah.
It was nice to hear someone. And the second thing, she was like, you're going to bleed a ton.
Yeah.
We'll think something is wrong.
Yep.
Something will not be wrong.
Yeah.
But it was
what
nice to
hear
have
that.
someone be like, I'm actually going to talk to you about the reality of what's going to happen here, because I'm guessing no one has.
Well, for the most kosher way I could just tell you this, no one told me that. And I had this lovely, old, very thin, old, lovely Asian nurse who was working overnights. And I got up to go to the bathroom and and I was like, son of a, what in the, oh my, and she's like, oh, you're so good. I'm like, stop smiling. There's no part of this that's good. This isn't good.
Is wrong,
yeah, not
me.
good. She's like, no, you're so good. And I'll never forget, except for her name, how lovely and sweet she was to me. So for all the nurses out there, gosh, you do such a great job. Thank you so much for coming in. You're so great,
for
so
having
wonderful.
me.
I'm excited to sort of take a romp around romper.com, and then come back when you get a chance, or
I'd love to.
bring the baby. It's going to be like 20 below here on the roof in a few weeks, so
Yeah, perfect for baby.
it'll be perfect baby
You can
weather.
come by during your
Come by during maternity leave.
maternity.
Oh, that would be
This
fun.
is easy to do
Right.
during maternity leave. Hang out on the couch.
And we'll do a little snowsuit.
It'll be
before she
fantastic.
can throw the gloves.
Yep. Before she knows how to even do this
Perfect.
motion.
Perfect.
Margaret Wheeler Johnson, thanks a million.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Camera's still live.
This
We'll just take a
camera's
picture.
still on.